Hello, everyone. This is the Movie Night Society once again. We're still talking about Rocky. This is the last of the mainline Rocky series, I guess. We're talking about Rocky Balboa. Um, I realized because the next episode is going to be our 50th episode or video or whatever. And I was like thinking about it, I'm like, a seventh of the videos on our channel after this video is up will be Rocky, because we did the six
Yeah.
Rocky films plus the Rocky 4 recut.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
a
we've done
seventh.
a lot of Rocky.
Yeah, because we covered all the films. Yeah, plus that recut of 4. But yeah, this is like the last. This is the real kind of send off to the Rocky character, I would say. Like even though the Creed movies brought him back, those movies are about Creed, and they are kind of about passing that torch. But this is like Rocky's real last outing, I would say,
Yeah.
as a boxer. Uh, and have you seen it before? I forgot if you had or hadn't.
Before this review,
Yeah.
I'd seen it before, and then I watched
Okay.
like most of it again.
Okay. Well, yeah. I say we just should we just like say what the plot is, or just go
Yeah.
through the movie like we usually do?
Yeah. Let's just do what we usually do.
That sounds good. Um,
We're gonna go for one
yeah,
last round ourselves, huh?
yeah, I guess so.
Stepping into the ring one last time.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, basically this movie, um, when was Rocky 5? Like 1990, like 15 years before this about?
Yeah, it was like 90 or 91. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure. Like really early 90s.
yeah. So 15 years have passed. Um, the big kind of emotional, I don't know, sort of thing that's happened in between movies is that Adrian has passed away. Um, she passed away like about 4 years before this movie takes place. Uh, and Rocky's still living in kind of his old neighborhood, uh, which was kind of interesting. I mean, like I knew they were because I've seen the movie, but like in retrospect, it's kind of funny that they did that because like Rocky 5 is the one that brings him back to that
Mm.
place. It's like, oh, like I'm kind of surprised they even followed through with that. But I think it's a very fitting place for Rocky to be. Like there's
Yeah,
something about it that
I
just kind of
agree.
feels right. Yeah. Like I feel kind of, I don't know, weird if he was still like rich and like living in a mansion.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't think he would like that, especially like kind
yeah,
of by himself. Like I can't
yeah,
see him doing that. So him kind of keeping it small and then becoming the owner of a restaurant, which we find out in the movie called Adrian's, which of
yeah,
course very fitting name. It feels very in character for something that he would do. So
yeah.
yeah, it fits.
I would eat there. It
I'd eat
looks
there too.
nice.
Yeah, I'd eat there
If
too.
Rocky was like telling me stories and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I'd go there all the time.
That was very funny, that scene where like the people are dining at the restaurant and he's like talking to people about like their stories, and like they've clearly heard it like a few times before. I
Yep.
thought that was pretty funny. um yeah, this is really like a legacy sequel in a way that like we kind of get these a lot now, where there's a lot of references to like the first film or like older movies. The spider, the guy who kind of like is a frequent like patron of Adrian's at first, and then he ends up working there. He's like the first guy that Rocky fights, like in that first scene in the first
Yeah,
movie.
it was funny when I was watching it for the first time when you said like Spider Rico. I was like, isn't that the guy we see him fighting in the very first Rocky movie? So
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't like put that together the very first time I saw it. I
yeah,
had to
well,
like
I
be
guess like in
told
my
that.
defense, like I watched like a bunch of them all together, so
Yeah,
it's like I
it's
think
it's
that's the only
cool
reason
though.
I was able to remember. But yeah, that was like, oh, okay, that's cool, like a cool thing. Like I assume that's the same character, same guy, or character. I don't know about the actor, but same
I
character
think
at
it's the
least.
same actor, but I'm
Yeah, that I didn't
not
check. That'd be
totally sure.
cool. That'd be cool if it was, but I figured at least like, okay, I know that character. It's kind of interesting, like to bring up him again.
Yeah,
But I thought it was like a neat little throwback to the first one.
yeah. This film I feel is very in tone with the first movie in a lot of ways. It feels very down to earth. Um, and Rocky is very like charming in this one. Um, the drama feels a lot more like the focus in this. Um, yeah, especially after like the last like three Rocky films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this feels closer to the first two films for sure, I would say. There's not really a lot of there's really like nothing over the top in this film. It's pretty grounded. Um, excuse me. But yeah, so I mean the sort of like we just got to set up where Rocky kind of is here. I mean like his Adrian has passed away. He's clearly still, broken up about it. Um, and yeah, he kind of just like at first he's just kind of like living his life, um, you know, managing the restaurant. Um, he does befriend the girl from the first movie that says "Screw you, creepo." I forgot her name, the character's name. Do you remember the character's name?
Marie.
Yeah, Marie. That sounds right. Um, so he like kind of befriends her. She's like working at a bar. Um, there's like shitty like
You know,
patrons and stuff.
I just gotta say, I thought it was funny how throughout these, like watching these all through the first time, I was kind of wondering if like a character, like kind of obscure character from the first one would come back. So that like when I was finally watching this one for the first time, and she says like, "Oh, you walked me home, 30 years ago," and I was like, oh, "It's gonna be the little girl from the first movie."
Yeah,
So yeah, that was just, I don't know, kind of a funny moment when I was watching it the first time.
yeah, and I think it works well. You know, we have so many of these movies, like these legacy sequels. I guess like that's what if that's what you want to call them, and like a lot of them feel very like the references feel forced or unearned or pointless. I felt like everything here was pretty like it worked really well. Um,
Oh yeah,
like
definitely agree.
Polly's like working at the meat plant again, uh, and yeah, just Rocky kind of like reminisces about he like walks by the pet store where Adrian worked, and Mickey's gym. I don't know. It's all very like somber and kind
Oh
of
yeah,
like
really somber.
yeah, kind of like heart wrenching. It's like
Oh
oh
yeah, especially since we've gotten all these other movies with Rocky and Adrian, and their relationship has really been like the heart of these movies. And then to start this, and Adrian's already gone, and we're having to see
yeah.
Rocky kind of, I don't know, fill the void in a way, like with other things.
Yeah, that's kind of what the movie really is about. It's like him.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. It's not fun to see Rocky like so alone and sad
Yeah,
without Adrian. It's just it's like you said, it's very somber, very heart wrenching.
yeah. I love like the detail when he's like sitting at the grave and he like puts the chair up in the tree, like he's gonna visit again. Like that's really. It's both like sweet and like sad, and like really touching. Um, yeah, I love that. I love like little details like that. Like yeah, again, even just like him calling the restaurant Adrian's. Um, which like I mean, like obviously, I think like the restaurant was open before she passed away, but like even still, it's like really like cute. And yeah, he's also kind of trying to I don't know close the gap in his relationship with his son, who has sort of like um, he's an adult now. He's working at a like a business firm, and he like clearly doesn't like really fit in. But he's also like kind of walking in the shadow of Rocky. You know, people will go up to Rocky Jr. and ask about his dad, or everyone talks about his dad and not him, which I thought was like very very realistic. I like I could see that happening, especially like when the character is literally Rocky Jr.
Yeah.
And I like that actor. I thought he did a good job. I don't remember his name. It's not Sage Stallone, uh, who played the son in Rocky Five. Um, he was still alive at the time, um, but I guess he just probably didn't want to do it. I guess I think he was like working on his own films or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, I thought he did a really good job. Um, and then we kind of get introduced to the current heavyweight champion, who I love the name, Mason the Line Dixon.
Dixon.
I love all these like very, I don't know, like Americana names in the Rocky films, like Apollo Creed. It's very fun, or just like the Americana of these films, just in general. Uh, it's always very like interesting, and yeah, so he's like kind of like the Tommy Gunn in the previous movie, where he's like the champ, but it's almost like the fights aren't really challenges, and it's like he's kind of ridiculed for being, uh, you know, I don't know what they call him in like the in Rocky Five. It was like a paper champ or something like that.
Balboa's puppet. I remember that they called him that.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of a
But
different thing they called him?
well, just like the idea of like him not being like a really challenged champ. I think they called him like a paper champ or something like that
Probably
in
something
Rocky
along those
Five.
lines. Yeah.
Uh, so like Mason the Line Dixon is like basically the same in this movie. He's yeah, like a champion who like kind of has to prove himself. Um, and they do this I don't know, one day like one of these news or sports shows on TV simulates a boxing match between Rocky Balboa and Mason Dixon, uh, and Rocky wins in the simulated fight, right? Or
Yes.
okay, uh, and it kind of like pressures his management to fight Rocky. They're like, "Oh, what if we did it for real?" Um, and Rocky uh, tries to get like his license, um, which I thought it was interesting that I mean after Rocky Five, they say that he like had like a major concussion or something, right?
He had brain damage.
Yeah, he had brain damage.
Yeah. I heard that there was an explanation that it was like misdiagnosed along those
Ye-
lines. I don't know if they ever said it in the movie, but I think I read something about that somewhere as to like why that never gets brought up in this movie.
yeah, Stallone like clarified in an interview. He basically said like, well, in Rocky Five, like he doesn't get a second opinion. He like kind of immediately, you know, goes with Adrian and like not retiring from fighting, and advancements in technology would have like proven that he didn't have brain damage. Um, so it's kind of interesting that like he still follows Rocky Five, even though he probably could have just completely written it off and no one would have cared. You know,
Yeah.
like probably could have just totally retconned the thing and it would have been fine. But it's interesting that he actually is like, no, I'm still gonna follow it, even if I don't like it. Um, and I'm trying to make sure I cover everything before we really get into like what is essentially, Rocky accepting the fight against Mason Dixon, because that's sort of like the whole idea is that Rocky wants to keep fighting and prove himself. Um, because like he's getting old and yeah, kind of like almost like wants that challenge again. Uh, and is like sort of like filling that void that like Adrian has left. Uh, so they agree to an exhibition match essentially between Mason and Rocky. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm skipping over like lots of stuff. So is there anything like any just like scenes that were fun? I liked Rocky befriending Marie, who has like a son, like a teenage son, I would say, right?
Yeah, yeah, teenage, maybe
And
like young adult at most.
yeah, and Rocky kind of like starts to befriend the son.
Yeah, I
Uh,
liked a lot of the scenes between those two. I kind of liked the relationship that was kind of started there.
yeah,
Don't really get a lot, but
it really is like the first film where it kind of is like this almost slice of life in a way. Uh, and yeah, like Rocky is just like befriending people. Marie and her son. They go to a like a dog uh, kennel, and they're like picking out a new dog for Rocky. And the Marie's son like wants this like kind of mean looking dog, uh, and Rocky wants this this like dog that looks kind of scraggly, uh, and like I love that. Just like Rocky's so funny in this movie, where the guy's like, "Oh man," the son's like, "No, not that dog. He's lazy." They're like, "No, no, he's not using his energy." Like,
yeah, all feels very in character for Rocky.
yeah. Uh, and then he asked uh, Marie's son to like name the dog. And what was the first name he came up with? It was
Fleabag.
like Fleabag.
I
Yeah,
think it's like not original, but not bad. But I think you could do better.
yeah. And then he comes up with Punchy, which is kind of like an insult toward boxers. I think.
Yeah, like some
Uh,
derogatory term.
yeah, because I know in Pulp Fiction there's a part where someone calls Bruce John Travolta calls Bruce Willis's character Punchy, and he gets like all offended by it. Uh, but Rocky's like, not a
I
bad
like it.
name. It's catchy. It's easy to remember. It's easy to
Easy to
spell.
spell.
I love that. uh, yeah, Punchy was a really cute dog, and yeah, just like a lot of scenes like that. Uh, Rocky. I like when Rocky is like talking to Marie, and he's like, he kind of thinks that maybe Marie is like romantically interested in him, and she's like, nope. Stuff like that is funny. Um,
Yeah, I was kind of wondering watching the movie if it's like, are they going to go there with that?
yeah,
I
because
don't
at first it
think.
kind of felt like that, but then it's like, oh, but it's about like Adrian,
Yeah,
you know?
which it should be. I just
Yeah,
can't see like anybody else like Rocky
with
feeling that
Rocky.
way about anyone
Yeah,
else. So, but it's like at first I'm like, are they going to go that direction? I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, it does not go there. So
yeah.
you can tell he
Um,
still really loves Adrian, and we have the scenes like at the beginning and some parts like later on where just kind of reinforces that.
yeah. Um, yeah, I'm reading the Wikipedia just to make sure I don't really miss anything.
You're gonna miss everything.
There's probably a lot of stuff we'll miss. I just don't want to go through it too fast. Um, but yeah, I mean, like a lot of it is kind of like little scenes that build character, and then I mean, really, like the first one, like the fight is really just kind of like a catalyst to bring all these relationships to a conclusion, I guess. Um, I liked Mason Dixon. I liked that he wasn't super over the top or whatever. He was more just like kind of cocky and confident, kind of like Apollo, but without like the flash.
Yeah, he didn't have like the same level as energy or like charisma, I thought, as Apollo. But
I agree with that. Like,
I guess in
I
his like
kind of
defense, this guy
wish.
is also not an actor; he's an actual boxer. So
Yeah, I
I
thought
think
that was
I think for
interesting.
just being like not an actor and just being an athlete, he did a pretty good job. But
Yeah,
I wasn't like too over the moon. I thought he was serviceable. I thought for this movie, and like he's fine like pretty much all the scenes he's in. They're like trying to do like a little bit with his character, like he's got this old trainer and everything, and he there's a couple of scenes where it shows him being like angry that he's not kind of getting like the respect he deserves. Stuff like here and there, but it's like he's like serviceable. That's like the best way I would describe him.
yeah,
And I think that's
I
all
would
it
agree
really
with that.
needed to be because it's like it's really about Rocky. Like we want to spend most of the time like with Rocky. That's what it's about. So it's like I was pretty much fine with how they handled like the opponent that he'd be facing. I think I liked him a little bit more the second time watching it. So
Yeah,
because
I would say the same. Like
yeah,
the first
first
time I saw it, I was kind of like,
a little
yeah,
underwhelmed, but it's like
yeah,
getting to see some of his scenes again. It's like I think there was a little bit more to him, but I'd still say like he's just serviceable for the movie, and that's fine. That's all it had to be.
yeah. Like out of all the villains, I guess. I mean, he's really not a
He's
villain, but
he's
like,
not a villain. He really isn't.
yeah, but like an antagonist, I guess. Like he's really like the least memorable, I would say. Like I don't see anyone talking about Mason Dixon.
Yeah,
So.
I would 100% agree. But it's like, it works for this.
Yeah, he works for like what this movie's going for.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job with his performance. And another thing that like makes the movie interesting because he is a real boxer. Uh, a lot of the punches later on in the fight are like real punches between Stallone and the actor, which is pretty crazy.
yeah. Stallone always wanted to make these like as realistic as possible.
Yeah, and like I mean, how old is Stallone now? He's probably like 70 now, right?
He's probably in
70,
his 70s.
76. Um,
Yeah,
so like at this point he would have been like 60, and he's like in a boxing ring with like a real boxer
yeah,
throwing real punches is pretty crazy. Um, shows like the commitment that Stallone has to this character in this series.
yeah. It puts it in
Um,
this perspective of why everybody's telling him like, dude, you're gonna get destroyed by this guy. Your guy in your
yeah,
60s going up against probably like a guy in his, I don't know, mid 20s, maybe early 30s, like his prime. It's like, yeah,
yeah.
not a good idea.
Uh, I guess. Oh, I really want to talk about um, Duke's part because I think this was maybe my favorite Duke scene in just like the whole series, where he really has no introduction
No, I
either.
kind of
It just
forgot he
cuts.
was even in the movie until I was watching it the second time. I was like, Duke's in this movie? I forgot.
Yeah, it just cuts to them talking, and it's
Yeah, he's
like
just there. It's like, where have you been? Good to see
because
you, but where were you?
when I saw this movie, I don't think I'd seen any of the other sequels. I like just jumped to this one for some reason. Uh, and it was like, to me, it was like, oh yeah, okay, it's just like some guy, I guess.
Guy,
But
who are you?
it's like, oh yeah, he's cool. But yeah, it's like,
He should have
yeah,
been in more of these.
yeah, Tony Burton's really great. Uh, I just like how direct he is. Like, yeah, you got arthritis, and your knees don't bend as well. You can't fight him with speed. You don't got that. So you got to fight. We're just gonna do good old fashioned brute force. Uh, I don't know. It's just very. It's like it's such a good scene, and I love that. Like just little like he like cracks his neck like that, and he's like, yeah. I don't know why that like always makes me laugh. Just like a great little character bit, and I like that he's like in the fight on the sideline a lot. Um, but I think that's kind of jumping ahead. Um, I mean, there's some great scenes where like I love the scene with Rocky and his son outside the diner where uh Rocky Jr. kind of like you know lays out all his like kind of I don't know, problems with the relationship between him and his father, and just like not really the relationship, but just like what Rocky's fame kind of like causes for him. And I think the message like that Rocky gives is so great, where it's like it's not about like how much you can take, it's about how much you can how much you can get hit and keep going. I like that a lot. I mean, like that's just like so in Rocky's character. I mean, like even right from the first movie, going the distance,
Yeah.
like keep getting back up. Um, yeah, just like that was a great scene. I thought Stallone did a great job in that scene. Um, and I don't know if you've seen the deleted scene with Paulie.
I heard about the some of the deleted scenes, but I haven't seen them.
Okay, the one with Paulie, I don't know why they cut this scene. It was so good. Like Paulie basically kind of like breaks down. It's like when it's after Paulie loses his job at the meat packing plant, and he goes to Adrian's the restaurant and like goes through the back alley. In the movie, he just like goes through the back alley and then like tells like Rocky like you're brave for getting back in the ring and everything. Um, but in the deleted scene, like he like has a whole talk with Rocky in the alley, and he like breaks down and cries over like missing his sister, and he
Mm.
says like it should have been me. Like he says like oh I like I should have died instead of her. It's so sad. It's so good. I don't know why they cut it.
Mm.
Um,
Good question. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
yeah, it's great. I don't know. I think the only reason I could possibly think is like maybe for pacing, but I don't know. Nothing about the movie felt like poorly paced to me. I would have gladly taken a really great scene to like kind of I don't know mess the pace up a little bit. I think that would have been a fine trade off. Um, because yeah, like Burt Young just like acts his heart out in that scene. It's great. Um, I liked him in this movie. I thought he was very Pauly. I think is the best way to say it. I like when they're just like it's like is it Adrian's birthday or the anniversary of like when she died?
I think it's supposed to be the anniversary of when she died, but I don't remember them ever saying exactly what. I think he just says like it's the anniversary, but I thought it implied that the anniversary of when she died because like
It could have been
Miles,
the anniversary of like their first date or something
I
too,
guess
because like
so.
they are going through places where they went on their first date, like the ice rink. Um, and like Polly's like we did this last year. Uh, yeah, very in character. I like Polly's line where he's like saying, like I traded her badly, so like I can't, I don't want to look into the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that was great. Um, yeah, just everything's very in character and very well written. Um, I did hear that originally Stallone did his idea was to have Adrian in it, and it just like wasn't working, so he had
That's
the
what I
character
read
die.
too. Yeah,
And I
I
I think it works really well. I think it like really adds a lot of weight to the movie. Like
I think
it's kind of sad to like not have Adrian in the movie, but like
I
that's like the point.
think he said that if Adrian was still alive, he probably wouldn't have the beast within.
Yeah.
Still, I do wish that we could have got at least a flashback scene of maybe Rocky and Adrian like in like a hospital bed or something, like kind of on her deathbed or something. Like
Yeah.
just like kind of one scene of like seeing them interact, kind of like for the last time, and it could have just been a flashback. It would have been nice to have like something, but I get why they would just like opt to have her not be in the film.
Yeah, it's interesting because the first time I saw it, I just assumed that the actress had passed away, that Talia Shire had passed away,
Mm.
because that's almost what it feels like.
Hmm.
But no, she was still alive at the time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think there's like I was just like reading through the Wikipedia, and I think she said something about the decision, and she said like that basically she liked it, and it made Adrian feel almost like mythical. in a way. I thought that was an interesting way of putting it. I, I kind of, yeah, I feel that. I think it kind of does make it feel mythical in a way. Um, yeah, you got to watch that scene, that deleted scene with Polly. That's great. I was like gonna send it to you, and I completely forgot.
Hmm. It's
Um,
okay. It's on YouTube, so
yeah, it is on YouTube.
I'll
So
definitely watch it after the review.
definitely, yeah. Like if you've seen the movie, like definitely check it out.
Well, you know,
Um,
Paulie's really crying because he doesn't have his robot anymore. That's the real reason. He
yeah,
misses the
they took
robot.
away the robot.
His robot
He's still
girlfriend.
he's still upset 15 years later.
She loved
That would
me.
have been so funny if like Rocky's crying
She
over
loved me.
Adrian, and
Rocky's
Polly's
crying
like,
over
"What
the
about
robot.
my wife?"
What about my wife? Huh? She treated me good.
Oh man. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what else to really say. I mean, the fight I thought was really good. It was really like frustrating to see like Rocky struggle in the beginning,
Yeah, he
which
was
was
definitely
like
struggling.
which is like yeah, he
Of
totally
course.
would.
Yeah, it makes sense, but you kind
Yeah.
of feel frustrated along with Rocky because, of course, we want him to do well, we want him to win, and he just can't really like kind of even get a hit on for a long time at the beginning of the match. So it's like we're feeling his frustration along with him. Like, come on, just like get a hit in. Can't get it. He's not fast enough.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, just like the fact they're like throwing real punches. I think most of the time, I'm sure like there's got to be some that were like
Yeah.
staged or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Um, but I know that like this had a lot less choreography than the other films because it was just them throwing real punches, which is kind of weird. You'd think like they would choreograph it if it was real punches, but I guess I just wanted to make it feel really
Really
realistic.
authentic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which they definitely did.
yeah, and I like the kind of way it's shot, like a pay-per-view kind of broadcast. Um, I like that guy, like that announcer who's like just so like excited that he's like watching Rocky and like Rocky like says something to him and he's just like he's like not focusing on like what his job. He's just
Yeah.
like looking up at Rocky like
He talked to
he's
me.
just like excited.
It's Rocky, guys. I'm fanboying hard here.
I thought that was great. Oh yeah, Mike Tyson shows up in the crowd.
Oh
I thought
yeah.
that was funny. uh yeah, yeah, the fight kind of starts off rocky.
Eh,
Uh,
I see what you did there. You know.
yeah, what I do?
Oh, I don't know. Something.
No. And he, yeah, and then he kind of like gets more serious, starts to put, you know, the fear in the other guy, I guess. Lets the beast out. Um, all those like emotions, all that grief kind of like builds Rocky up and helps him fight. Like lets it all out. And I really like the way the fight ended. Um, I thought basically like kind of ends like the first movie with essentially a
Comes full circle.
um, yeah, what did they call it, like
It's a
a
split decision.
split decision, yeah. And as they're reading off like who is, what the judges are saying, in who they're in favor of, Rocky's already leaving. Rocky's
Yeah,
like, I
I
proved
like.
myself, it
Yeah,
doesn't really matter if I
pretty
won or
much.
not.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of like his first fight with Apollo. All he really
Yeah,
wanted to do was go the distance.
yeah,
So it's kind of
which
like that's all he really wanted to do here too.
yeah, which I did notice, like in the first movie, and I think in a lot of the other movies, like it's like 15 rounds. This
Yeah,
one
and
was
now it's
10.
10.
I guess
Yeah,
they changed it at some point.
yeah. I guess between Rocky 5 and Rocky 6, like actual boxing is they do less rounds. I guess. Not that I would
That's my
know.
guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I really like right after the match, when the bell rings, that I always just really like Rocky's very like sportsmanship attitude because they're kind of like grabbing onto each other, but he's like, "Oh, you were great. You're a great champion. Thanks for this opportunity."
Yeah,
You think like normally they'd be talking smack about each other, still like, I totally won. You lost. I won. But no, Rocky's just not like that. So I know I
yeah,
like little stuff, just the little stuff with Rocky like that. I
yeah. It
like a
just like
lot.
always makes the character so like humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. Where he's just like kind of like cheering to the like like kind of waving to the fans and stuff as he's leaving. Uh, yeah, just I mean that's how the movie ends. I really enjoyed it. If you couldn't tell,
Yeah.
um, I don't know how long this was. I'm trying to think of other scenes that I wanted to talk about, but it was a pretty short movie too. Like I didn't feel the runtime really at all.
No, you really don't.
Yeah, it was like
Doesn't feel like there's any scenes that drag on for too long or like anything that was really unnecessary. I mean, I guess there's like some things you can cut, like okay, Rocky and Steps getting a dog. And I need to show that, but I like the scenes like that because it gives the characters, I don't know, a little bit more character. And we get to see
yeah,
Rocky kind of bonding. So I'm not like saying those are bad scenes, but it's like they probably could have cut stuff like that. But I'm glad they didn't.
yeah. One little detail I like is that um I forget Rocky like just goes to like kind of in the beginning he goes to Adrian's restaurant. I think not in like running gear, but just kind of like casual attire because I think he was like meeting up with his son or like he essentially surprises his son at work. Um uh but he comes back to Adrian's restaurant and I like that he just like he takes off that leather jacket and then just puts on like this nice like red jacket just
Mhm.
over what he was already wearing. I don't know why. I thought that was like funny. And then like later on he's like wearing like a different kind of casual shirt and still the same jacket just over it. I thought that was really funny. Oh yeah, there was another nice like thing where he like gives Marie the job as the what like the maitre d or whatever. Just the lady at the desk when you go in a restaurant. I think it's called a maitre d, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Um,
Something like that.
I could be thinking of something completely different. I don't even know. Um, but yeah, so like gives like her that job because the person who had the job before was like pregnant, about to have a baby. He's like, oh, I'll give the job to Marie. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a movie of very like kind of almost seemingly insignificant moments, but that add a lot of character, add a lot of charm and humbleness to Rocky, and like a lot of sadness and sympathy toward him. I thought it was really well done. It's like it's like a movie that you know almost like didn't need to exist in a way, but I think it just like is a great way to
Yeah,
end
I
the Rocky series.
I think it's a better send off than Rocky Five.
Definitely, I think that was like really the only reason he did this
Yeah,
is because like Rocky Five was not well received,
yeah.
even by him.
hmm
Um,
Man, it just feels like a better send off for the character. And like if we'd never gotten the Creed films, like I would have been very satisfied if things just kind of ended here.
yeah, I can't even imagine like growing up with this series like in the theater and then like this comes out like 15 years after Rocky 5. That would have been like crazy. Um, so I think it was like a great idea to do that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much else to say. The music was great. Once again, it was Bill Conti doing essentially using themes and motifs from other movies, but kind of I don't know, making them work for this movie. But it all sounded great. Love like the piano score. Um, they played "Gonna Fly" right during the training montage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
I feel like they did. Um, I like that he runs up the steps with his dog
Yeah,
and lifts up the dog.
iconic.
Yeah, because I think I'm not totally sure, but I think if you look at the poster for this movie, I think it's just that shot, but with the dog removed. I think, but I could be wrong. I'd love to do a side by side comparison later, but um, yeah, I really like this movie. I don't have much else to say. Do you?
No, not really. Like I said, I just thought it was a really good send off for the character, a good way to end the Rocky movies. I know, of course, we have the Creed, but on kind of those spin offs, just like main Rocky movies, this was a good, I think, place to end it. Felt like we got closure, and
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it overall. Like I said, some things, like Dixon is kind of the opponent slash antagonist. Didn't really feel very like antagonistic, and he's probably like the least memorable about like out of all of Rocky's other foes throughout the movies, but he's still very serviceable for what this movie is. So, uh, yeah, I liked Rocky's like relationship with his son, kind of like a little bit of the drama they got between them felt, it's very realistic, I think, for Rocky basically being this big celebrity and everything. So I like the speech we hear from Rocky, like towards his son at the end. His scenes like with Marie and all that, scenes with Polly and the scenes where he's remembering Adrian and stuff, all was really good. Actual boxing match itself was good. And yeah, I didn't have like a whole lot of negative things to say really about the movie. Um, like I said, I saw it twice, and it was pretty much just as good the second time as the first. At least I thought. And
yeah,
yeah, I just really solid kind of way to end off for this character.
yeah, um, yeah. I pretty much agree with everything that you said. I mean, I really couldn't. I don't know. I can't think of a better way to like end the character. Um, uh, yeah, I think this is probably one of my favorite Rocky sequels. I just it works really well as like just kind of a slice of life of like where Rocky is, essentially 30 years after the first movie. Um, I feel like even if you hadn't seen the other sequels, this is still pretty good. But obviously, like watching the whole series adds a lot of emotional context and weight to everything. Um, yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed it. Um, I guess we'll rate it now. I don't know what to rate it. I think I'm gonna go 3.5. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna go 3.5. Really, really solid movie. Really don't have much to complain about it. The only complaint that I had, but it's something that I feel like no one is really gonna care about, and like after a while, it's really not noticeable. But there's some parts in it where the ADR, like voiceover, is very obvious.
Mm,
Literally my only real complaint with any kind of technical aspect of the movie, but it's like, what does that matter?
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, really, my only real complaint with the story is just like leaving the scene out with Polly.
Mm,
I mean, like, I'm not saying it would like have made the movie a 4, but I think it would have made the movie overall stronger. Um, just because I feel like Polly's such a kind of important character in the story in the series. I think he deserves a really great scene like that.
yeah,
um,
definitely agree. I really
yeah,
want to see that scene now.
yeah, yeah. I think 3.5. Closer to a 4, but yeah,
Mm. Yeah, I'm like kind of torn between a 3.5 and a 4 as well. I think. See, if I were to give it a 4, mm, see, Rocky 1 got a 5 for me, and then Rocky 2 like a 4.5. I'm pretty sure. Did I give? I think I gave. Did I give Rocky 3 a 4? I think I did. I forget what I gave Rocky 4 though. It's like, I think I'll probably give it a 3.5 as well. It just doesn't feel like it's quite a 4, but like kind of same for you, like where it's like really close, but like just not quite there, but still really good. I could go up to like a 4 eventually, maybe after a couple more viewings. For all I know, I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a 3.5 as well. It's still really good. I like this one a lot.
Yeah. Do we want to rank the movies now that we're
Um,
done? What do you think?
sure, yeah, I'm up with that.
I mean, obviously, the first movie is like the best one.
First movie,
I can't
yes,
I
it's the
can't
best one.
really
Yeah, that was a
say any of
five
them.
5 out of 5 movie.
Yeah, easily. Um, for me, it's uh, my second favorite. It's between Rocky 2 and Rocky Balboa,
Hmm.
and I think I would give it to Rocky 2.
Mine would be Rocky 2.
Yeah. And then my three would be Rocky Balboa. I don't know, what would your number three be?
You know, I still think my third one would be Rocky 3. I just
Okay.
really love Rocky 3. It's such a fun movie.
Rocky 3 has so many great moments, great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed's
I just have
whole
so much fun
arc is
watching
great.
that movie. It's just so over the top and goofy, but I have such a fun time watching it.
I think if I watched it like not as part like right after watching two, I
Hmm.
think I'd enjoy it a lot more. I think it's always like
Understandable.
watching it as part of the series is like
It could be a little
it's such a
jarring.
jump.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a little jarring. But
yeah.
man, it's such a fun movie.
It is really fun.
Yeah. I'm not really sure where I'd rank like for number 4. It's like I don't know. It'd be obviously between Rocky Balboa and Rocky 4.
Yeah, and
Ah,
I guess we're not going to count the director's cut
yeah, we
for
won't
Rocky
cut the
4.
director's cut right now.
Yeah. Um
Gosh, it's really hard between those two. It's like Rocky 4 is, kind of very over the top and fun like Rocky 3,
mhm.
but I also really like Rocky Balboa. Now it's a bit more grounded and a good send off.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like my top three are like the grounded ones, and then
Hmm.
everything else is like, I mean, like I guess the bottom half of my list is like the three kind of little more over the top ones.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think my number 4 would be Rocky Balboa though. What about
okay,
you?
I think my number four would
Or
be
would be
Rocky
Rocky
Four.
4?
I
Okay,
I
there
think
you
it's
go.
like it's like weirdly it just gets more fun like the
Rocky
more
4
you
is
watch
fun.
it. It's like
I must
my
break you.
favorite soundtrack in the series. Might maybe one of
That's
my
great.
favorite like film soundtracks in general. I just love all the songs on it.
It's got some pretty great
Um,
songs.
yeah, it's awesome. Hearts on Fire, Burning Heart, Living in America, No Easy Way Out. It's such a great soundtrack. It's like I don't know. It's almost like one of those movies that feels like a musical in a
It
way.
almost does, yeah.
Yeah, um, super fun, and the director's cut was pretty good too. So I think I'd prefer to just watch the original cut. Um, but I don't know. They're both really good. So that's my number four. And then I think my number five is Rocky 3. And then it's like you can guess what the last one is.
Yeah, Rocky 5. Yeah, mine would be it was like Rocky 1, 2, Rocky 3, Rocky Balboa, Rocky 4, then Rocky 5. Which we've
Yeah.
already said in our review, we still like Rocky 5, but yeah, it's
Yes.
definitely I think it's easily like the worst one, but it's still
Yeah.
worth watching. Like if you're gonna watch all the movies, like don't skip Rocky 5.
Yeah. There's still like lots of really good stuff in
Yeah,
it.
I
It's
still
just
like
like
Rocky 5.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like definitely stupid, but like that's fine. Yeah. Excuse me. Um, yeah. So we're done with Rocky. Um,
We are.
and I think this is our 49th episode. So our next one's going to be our 50th episode. I gotta be honest, I have no idea what to do for the 50th
I
episode,
don't
but
know either. We're probably YouTube will probably just find out when it's uploaded. Then I guess like you'll upload it because we'll probably discuss off camera what it's going to be.
yeah. Uh, yeah, so it's a secret right now. We'll just say that.
It's almost a shame that Rocky Balboa couldn't have been number 50. Like
Yeah,
we
I
should we
know.
should have
I
we
like
should have done like one
realized
more review before like
I know,
doing
but then
this.
it's like, what would we have done for that? I don't even know.
It's gonna
Um,
be a movie that somehow has the theme of the number 50.
I
Oh,
think that's
just, I
there
don't
is a
know what it's
movie
gonna be.
called 50-50.
50,
We could,
50.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, we're just probably gonna decide off camera. It'll be a
Yeah,
surprise for YouTube
we'll
for
do a
all
sequel to another movie we did before. Yeah, that's right. Grown Ups 2.
grown-ups too.
That,
Very fitting.
oh God. Actually, no. No. Wait, that could actually be a real idea. Let's not do that. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see you next time for a very special episode of the Movie Night Society. Uh, yeah, we don't know what it is, but you'll find out when the episode's up. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Peace out. Bye.